like, I'm not here for any podcast platform or any platform that's giving Noel Clarke time to speak.
Ooh.
Can't lie.
Well, let's get into it.
Hello, and welcome to your Aunties Could Never, episode 150. You look like you're being naughty.
I didn't do anything.
You look naughty. I'm Auntie AK and I'm here with
Auntie Farah.
Auntie Nana.
And Auntie Sade.
Welcome. How are you, my guys?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, good.
Feeling good?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
All right.
Feeling good, Billy Ray.
Looking good, is it?
Lewis.
Lewis,
Yeah.
yes. Oh, what's that from? Name that film.
I have a coffee and Baileys.
I had a coffee in Bailey's.
I said name that film. You talked
Trading
about coffee.
Places. Yes.
Auntie Farah.
Eddie
Responding properly.
Eddie Caddy.
Eddie
Caddy.
And
Eddie Caddy wishes.
I was trying to think
Eddie
of the white
Dan
version of
Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd.
Oh, the what?
The British version of Dan Aykroyd.
White Yardie.
Kevin J.
Kevin J, was it?
Oh wow, Kevin J.
Oh.
Name for a while.
I know, it's been a while, isn't it?
Yeah.
Actually, I saw him the other day.
Yeah, me too. He was
Who's
on
that
something
about?
the other day.
He's married to Dominic Moore. The
Oh,
actress,
serious? Oh, okay. That's cute.
yeah. Alrighty, who's our enemy of progress this week?
Um,
Who's been an enemy of progress?
So definitely Prince Andrew,
One
because him coming out with his autobiography, well, allegedly anyway, hopefully he gets the message that we don't want that from an alleged nonce. We're not interested in what he's got to say.
I think it's just that word. It's so hard.
It's so horrible,
a
isn't
delicious
it?
word. Yeah,
It's a
just
great word.
Sums it
It's
up
just
in
so
a...
descriptive.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
describes him
Yeah.
allegedly.
Mate, imagine a whole book. He's not listening to his mum. His mum said, head down, feet
Thumbs
forward.
Well, yeah, I think he's going to do what he wants to do because he done that interview when he shouldn't have,
Yeah.
you know, and he's just going to dig the hole deeper and deeper,
Yeah.
really. But, yeah, if it incriminates him, then I'm all for it.
That is what it could do. It
What's
could
it gonna
incriminate
do?
him.
What is it? What's this book going to do? What's it going to say? What years is he going to talk about that's going to have anybody interested?
Okay, so what he wants it to do is to be like, oh, we get his story. No, he was set up. But what it probably is going to do is make us all know you did it.
Yeah.
Basically.
Even more.
Yeah.
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 And
But,
that, you know, the monarchy should go. That will be the underlining theme or the underlining essence from the book, that we don't need them anymore.
Yes.
And actually we're wasting our money.
So maybe we should actually celebrate that he's going to bring out this.
So
So he's not an enemy of progress.
he's a reverse enemy.
He's a supporter of progression.
Could be.
Yeah. It might expedite the
It could
elimination of the
happen.
monarchy.
No, I don't want to ever use Andrew and supporting in the same word, in the same sentence.
It's
No.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, it makes me feel very icky. Like, nah.
Oh,
Okay.
oh.
Okay.
No.
Having to work.
Full stop.
Yeah.
Really?
Why don't they just give us a living wage? Yeah, I'm actually over labour in any capacity. I think it's an enemy of the progression of humans, and we should just be able to just have everything that we want abundantly and not have to. Our exchange shouldn't be work.
Should it be sweat equity?
No, it should be
Sweated.
just being a human. You can have whatever you want, and that should just be it. We shouldn't have to then give you something.
What are the limitations on having? Because if we all had everything that we wanted, would there be any kind of,
No,
empty
there'd be no
resources?
hierarchy. We would all have whatever we wanted in all of our human capacities. We wouldn't have to, there wouldn't be any pecking orders. We'd just all do whatever we wanted to.
I would think removing the hierarchy, but just everyone having everything they wanted,
Yeah.
resource-wise, would that cause a problem? Because what if we all wanted the same thing?
But we wouldn't, because we're humans and diverse. So we're not all going to want a yacht.
I don't know if one
I
was
think
available.
more people might.
yeah, if
they
one was
could.
available.
I think, do you know what will be the
You know what I
outpouring
mean?
in the first instance, and everyone will calm down. Okay, cool.
Exactly.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But then who gets to decide to end the hierarchy? Like, isn't there a hierarchy of people who are deciding to end the hierarchy?
All humans.
Okay.
So what? We all have a voting button. We just vote on
Hierarchy
stuff.
enters the
We,
room.
yes.
Who decides for it to be a vote?
Let's just put the aliens. They give us a red button.
Thinking on their feet.
They give us a red button and we go end it all when we want to start all over again and be free.
So everyone's
Reset.
going to be resetting at every different time, all the time.
No, just everyone has to touch the button together.
1 million billion people on this earth.
the aliens can make it happen, okay?
That's true.
My little human brain can't figure it all out.
There's something in what you're saying, but
I have
also not.
another one. So, like, I'm not here for any podcast platform or any platform that's giving Noel Clarke time to speak.
Ooh.
Can't lie.
Well, let's get into it.
I feel like
Who's
it's a
agreed
bit of,
to?
Oh,
I don't know
loads.
the name.
He's on Winners Talking. He's done an interview. I feel like his name is James Andrew, but it's a white podcaster who has quite a big platform as well, similar to Winners Talking. And there is talk. I don't know if it's happened, but within spaces in comments, I've seen people saying that he has one with ZZ as well.
Oh, is it?
Whether or not that's taken place, it hasn't been advertised, but he definitely does have 2 pods coming out today on a Sunday and another one within the week. So it's going to be 2.
Be interesting to see how the conversation goes down with ZZ. If she's hard on him, if she doesn't let him get out of answering straightforward questions, because that would be because he was asking for black platforms. He wanted, and I know he specifically probably wanted to speak to black women.
Right.
Interesting. He wants to speak to black women.
Let me say I feel like I heard that
Okay.
rather than confirming it as actual fact.
So black women can
the
save you.
platforms are enemies of progress for having him on.
That's what I'm
that's what you're
saying.
saying? Okay.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I know, like, yeah. I'm not interested in what he's got to say or him pushing his agenda in any sort of way.
I want to hear what he has to say
So do I.
in conversation with someone who's not going to let him deflect or reduce or undermine the allegations that were put towards him. I mean, I say I want to. I might not even bother to watch, but I'm just saying if that's what's going to happen, it shouldn't be a PR campaign. It should be a very honest conversation where he can be honest, and also, where he should be as honest as he, not as he can be. He should be honest. So it should be a platform that should let him be honest.
I think so. I think I'm on that side of it, actually, because he hasn't been convicted, and there's no trial. Like I'm more open to hearing what he's got to say. I think so. I'm curious.
Because I'm curious. The minute you do that, you automatically sound like an apologist, and I don't think that's the case. It's someone that's been who's been an icon in our UK popular culture for many years, who has been accused of some heinous crimes. He got off from those heinous crimes, but yet there's a bunch of people who know or feel like they know first-hand accounts of people who have experienced these allegations from him. So him accounting for that, I think that's where I sit. Accounting for the people that actually say you did this to me. And so it's not, you don't
I
have
don't
to
think you can. You have to admit what you've done in the first instance. If you're denying it, how can you possibly be honest?
That, yeah.
Oh, that's harsh. Okay. Oh, I don't know
That's
if I agree
harsh,
with that.
man.
Yeah. I don't know. I am more like, okay, so there was no prosecution, but he has lost a lot of his life. And from what he said, he's like, I definitely hold my hands up. I've done some inappropriate things, but I have not done what I have been accused of. That's what he said on his own platform, like when you're watching his lives. So there's no prosecution.
R. Kelly wasn't prosecuted for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neither
now
was
he
Bill
is.
Cosby.
Mm-hmm.
Russell Simmons.
Tim Westwood.
Tim Westwood.
Yep.
My point is, I understand innocent till proven guilty. I get that, yeah. But it's the lack of remorse and like if I always think if 20 people are saying the same thing, and these are 20 people that have not engaged with each other, something's up.
Yeah.
And just because you're an icon and you've done this, that, and the other, you are not excused.
No.
And going around and blaming the media for your behaviour is not an excuse.
I want to hear him being challenged on a few things that came forward from his rants of nobody ever went to the police.
Some people don't go to the police.
But I mean, as in the article did say that there was a police investigation.
Okay.
The Guardian article did say
Okay.
that he was in the run of being prosecuted on this, and that never happened. So there's parts to it where I'm like, I want to know more. Or for any of the accusers, it's just like, I don't know. It doesn't all add up. And that's where I'm way more curious as to what truly was going on and how does he see it. as well.
I don't know if he's the right person to answer that question though. So just because there was no or we at the moment we don't have the research to know if there was a police report or not. That's what he said.
Yes.
That there is no police report.
Yeah.
No one to. That's coming from him.
Yeah.
He would say that. Do you know what I mean? Because he's going to say anything to kind of exonerate him and exonerate his position. Now, that doesn't mean that someone hasn't tried to file one. It doesn't mean someone hasn't spoken to a police officer.
I think that's
You know
the
what I mean?
discourse that I'm interested in.
But
Like, how did it
that's not
actually
gonna
like
come
follow
from
through?
him. That's going to come from the alleged victims.
Or
you know what
him
I mean?
talking and then people will respond to that.
But I think it's a lot to ask as well, the alleged victims to always come up against him. Do you know what I mean? They've done what they've done. Like, to even go through that process and say what your experience is a lot in itself. And it must be heartbreaking of these alleged victims to see him come with this discourse of, like, you know, acting like an innocent person. What I would be, it would be more interesting is, like, the things that you're saying that you are guilty of, what are they? Do you know what I mean? I've done some things. What things have you done?
Yes.
What is it that you are confused about, not understanding, or, you know, because in the beginning he says, I hold my hands up, like, you know, I'm sorry and everything like that. What are you sorry for then, bruv?
Yeah.
See that
What
line
is
of
it?
questioning? If it's easy that he goes on, I want to hear everything that
That's
you said.
that's
directed
it.
at him.
But if you don't actually engage with the person, you're never gonna get that.
I just
Like, that's
room
the
for
thing. It's like, I think
speculation
it's,
and rumor, and there's always that unfinished conversation where, and that's why, that's the only part where I sit like, I just want to, if you were asking him all those questions, I'll be very engaged, wanting to hear everything he said.
Yeah.
What's your response to that?
because how do you riddle out of it? I think it's
I think
People
I
have
think
riddled
easier.
out
I think
of
there's
it.
a line under
Easy
it.
to
People have
out of
riddled
those things.
exactly.
I think it really is.
We've seen
if you're
it.
seasoned and you know how to deal with press, deflect, not answer the question, go around the subject, take away, you know, go to a different point. It is very easy
But
to get
even
over
to
these
see
things.
that-
It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. I don't think we're gonna get what you think we're gonna get. That's it. So I just think like,
It's not even about a
worth it.
perceived outcome. I'm more curious to see whatever outcome it is. I don't like the stifling of anybody's voice.
Yeah.
Because in the same way, like Prince Andrew, if
I
everybody was like, I'm never going to speak to him, we wouldn't have seen his guilty interview.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to, that's what they do.
Just-
with
Yeah, I
criminals.
understand that point.
It's that. It's like, actually, let's see. Let's put you on the hot seat and you answer all of these questions. And we can all see this person is probably guilty. Or you know what? Maybe not. Maybe there was something else in there. I'm open to that with
Yeah,
you.
I think I'm in the same space.
I'm not with this situation, not with this guy, not with 20 people with similar cases. No, I'm not.
Do you know what? I get it. I'm repeating.
But to be fair, you don't have to get
No,
it
yeah,
either. Do you know what I
no,
mean?
I
Like,
know.
this is just my stance.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it
No,
doesn't
it is,
have
it's
to
challenge.
be.
And I think there's
know what
loads
I
of
mean?
schools of thoughts on it.
Yeah.
And it is, yeah. And you said this with other people. It is like, no, I don't need to hear from them. I'm always on the side of, I'm more curious. I want to hear.
That was a lot.
That was a
Enemy of
good one.
progress. That was a good one.
I like that. That was good.
All right. So we're going to get into some Aunties Know Bests and some discussion and some stuff around it. So first up, Breeny Lee and her extreme weight loss. We're going to get into that. So Breeny Lee, if you don't know, she's an influencer who's around 29 years old and was about a size 16 or 18. She, I don't know if it's recently, but she went to Turkey not long ago and got a gastric sleeve, and where they removed 85% of her stomach, and she's now a size 8, still losing weight. But yeah, do we want to go into a bit of an explanation?
Basically, so she has a video out on YouTube at the moment where she had this surgery in 2021, and she is now revealing that this is why she's been losing weight. It's because she has a gastric sleeve. I watched it and was really flabbergasted and dismayed that that somebody who is so young, doesn't have any kids yet, would remove and would be able to, a surgeon would do surgery on her and remove 85% of her stomach. And because she is so influential, I was judging it. I was like, this isn't okay. I don't think this should be out in the public. So you can do it for yourself, but doing a video on it, I was like, I feel like this is wholly irresponsible. So I wanted to get you guys' opinions on this. If
First reaction to what you said, because I'm in the space, you guys are a bit sensitive about operations and things like that. But the only thing I just in the initial is that if she was bigger and all of a sudden lost all the weight, I understand why she did a response video, just for that notion, because it would also be potentially irresponsible if there was no explanation, because people are so engaged in her life and following her. So that swift change without explanation, I think when you invite people into your world, there has to be an accountability. What happened? I mean, I suppose it has to be, you can do what you want, but I feel like it'd be a bit weird if one day you're big and the next day you're absolutely super skinny with no explanation in between.
well, it was a steady decline, like, from 16 to 18. When I was a size 16, I went down to a size 8 in 7 months. Naturally, it's not that big for you to lose weight and people not just think that you were just eating right and exercising.
But then that's misleading.
I would have preferred that.
Why?
No, because the exposure would have been like, because then people will buy into that and might do unhealthy methods to get as skinny as her, thinking it's as easy to feel insecure about themselves in that way as well.
Because it's so drastic.
I get it though, but
that's why I would have preferred she kept it to herself.
Okay.
But I mean, she's an influencer. She is she has followers. People, she's more of a lifestyle anyway, like influencer in my opinion. So I think like it's good on her for being transparent about it. I think like it's just it's difficult because this kind of like goes into like the fat phobic kind of space, right? Do you know what I mean? And she has decided, in her, the way she sees herself, she wanted to be smaller. And she chose this method to do it. She's within her right to do that. Like, I just don't see what the problem is. Like, she's, done her research. She's gone to where, a place where, she feels safe and that she can afford. And she's got her process done and she's showing the process of it. Like, I just think there's just too much judgment on people who want to change their lives and change their physicalities, and it's none of our business, really and truly. If we don't want to know about it, we should watch it. Do you know what I mean? It's not for us, really and truly. If it's something that you're not interested in, just turn off, scroll to another video.
How old is she?
29.
Okay.
And she's got no children.
I mean, okay, what do I think? I think people get lipo all the time. And people get plastic surgery all the time. The only thing is the health risks, but there's health risks in having your boobs done. There's health risks in having lipo. There's health risks in having fillers. There's a health risk in everything. And I would like to think that she's looked into them properly. I'm always a little bit like, why are people going Turkey? I understand it. I just think it's dangerous. But that goes back to me what I've said before about the British plastic surgery organisations need to look into what's happening because people are still dying. So I think that is a bigger deal rather than what people can and can't get. It's up to her what she wants to do. As long as she's not going out there saying, I recommend that everyone should get this surgery, because that's not responsible. But if she wants to do this for herself, like, we don't know what her battle with her weight's been. She's 29, right? She could have been battling with her weight her entire life and it could be really affecting her. She could have tried, because lots of things, because I think my head was like, what else has she tried? But because she's 29, she's probably tried a few things. She tried lipo, it doesn't work for her, so she's decided to go down this route. Now, we all talk about changing our ways of eating and our lifestyles in order to make ourselves more healthy and better. This is forcing her to change her lifestyle and the way that she eats forever. So for her, maybe that's what she needed. Some people need, like, I want to go gym. I never go gym, but I want to go gym. I feel like I need someone to kick me up the arse and bring me to the gym. So maybe this is her way of it, kicking her up the arse to stick to something. It's up to her. My only thing is influencing others irresponsibly. That's my main thing.
I feel like it is really irresponsible. I just don't think... I feel like there should be levels to being able to reduce your stomach. Like, if you're bigger... 16 or size 18 for her height at like 5'10", 5'11" is not that big. And that to me is irresponsible for the surgeon. I looked into it. She wouldn't be able to get that surgery here.
But there's a lot of things that you can't get here.
But what's too big for her?
No, I'm talking about medically.
So
that surgery
yeah.
wouldn't be done over here.
But that's like-
because it's too risky for her size.
But that's like what they call BBLs.
Yeah.
You can't get that done here either.
Yeah,
So
because it's too risky.
yeah, I know, but that's why I mentioned about the British organisations looking into certain things.
Literally
But,
agreeing. Yes, it's the follow on.
Yeah,
Being able to.
But then the
travel
problem
elsewhere.
is us living in this society, and as a black woman, when you get your BMI done, it tells you you're obese. So if you have that in your head and you're someone who's susceptible to that kind of information negatively, you can't tell someone how that affects them. Do you know what I mean? So I
it's
understand
not
about
that.
it being
It's being influential to other people, that they also then see this as a way out of it's a
But
fix.
they could have seen it
But
with lipo.
it's a whole life
Yeah.
change, and she does talk about it. She can't eat anymore.
That's what I said.
Like, it's a whole life change for somebody so young, where you don't know. When you're in your 20s to 30s, your insecurities are so much higher than as life happens, and you can kind of settle into yourself. It's too young.
I
to do
get it,
something
but then
so drastic.
but then that's all types of surgery. If you go and you get your boobs done, that is a lifestyle change, because your boobs don't last forever. You have to redo them every so often.
But I think
if you go and you get your teeth done, if you get like flipping veneers, that's also a lifestyle. Any kind of surgery, really, fillers, whatever the fuck you want to call it, is a lifestyle change.
Also reversible.
I understand that these things are, but it's reversible. It does have an effect on your body.
Yeah, but
It has a life.
You can't get another.
I
stomach.
understand you
My
can't,
point is-
but my point is, like, if you get the things that I've mentioned in terms of plastic surgery, these are things that are changing your life, whether you can remove them or not. People that get their breasts removed, they have issues with that afterwards. There's things they have to have other surgery afterwards. So it is all plastic surgery, no matter what it is. It's a lifestyle change.
But that's how I feel about plastic surgery in general. And I think that when the ages that we're allowed to do these things, I think there needs to be a lot more stringent. And it is imposing my judgment on it. But I have that thing about plastic surgery overall, because it does affect your body. It's not always reversible, or there's maybe people do their research, but then it's actually when you've done it, then you're like, oh, I actually have to go undergo this again, to tweak it, to redo it, to top it up. And it's painful. It's a very disgustingly painful process. Everyone that goes through it says it. And she's saying she doesn't enjoy food anymore. And actually, she's losing weight because she's not in control of her weight loss. But also her stomach is slowly expanding the more she gets used to eating, and the processes that she's going through, where she's introducing little bits more food. And I mean, it's a discipline thing that she's got to really find her discipline. But also, after a while, her stomach is expanding. I don't know enough about it, whether her stomach will stretch back to normal capacity.
It doesn't ever stretch back to normal capacity. Well, what the danger is, and what happens with a lot of people, I don't know how this gastric thing that she's had, but usually what happens when people have this surgery, they can like rupture their stomachs because they binge. The minute they binge or they do something, it's very, very, I agree with you 100%. That is a very dangerous surgery.
Yeah.
It's just whether or not she's got the right to do
and
that.
Has she got? I don't know if she said it in her video. Is she getting therapy alongside it? Is she getting that kind of support? Because
Probably not, because she got it in Turkey.
well, this is
That
what I'm
doesn't
saying,
mean that
so
she's not getting therapy.
No, but I mean, like, aligned with that. Unless she's doing it privately herself. It's not like
She
the
She has a
therapist is
dietitian now, because
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
because she was losing weight so much more than she was like, actually, I've got to my stop point. I've got to how I'm comfortable. And then she carried on losing weight. She was like, I do have a dietitian now to try and maintain this, because I'm not able to eat properly.
So what's our overall thoughts on?
I just think like she is showing the realities of it. So it's just like if that's obviously we don't live in our country. The plastic surgery isn't like the norm here. Do you know what I mean? Like, but in other parts of the world it is, so like I think she is showing for people here, if you want to go through this procedure, this is how it is for me. And I think that is a valid story to tell. I don't have any issue with it if that's what she wants to do at her big 29 years of age.
So, Thursday the 23rd of March, if you guys didn't know, was the National Day of Reflection. And we got a DM from a young guy who said, and by the way, National Day of Reflection is remembering those who've passed on. And coincidentally, we got a DM from a young man who said, "Dear Aunties, I'm a 26-year-old guy who sometimes catches your show when my sister listens to you lot. Actually, let me be real. I listen to you guys regularly."
That's like that, like that Drake, like that Drake album or the Drake line where he's like, it's one of his early things, and he says, yeah, you say that you bought the album, you said it's for your girlfriend. These times it's for you.
Or
it's for your little
Drake.
sister.
He said, actually, let me be real. I listen to you guys regularly after I kept you and my sister and auntie going on about how live you are. Anyway, I wanted to get your advice on how I'm supposed to grieve as a young black man. I lost my mum when I was about 11, and my dad's not the greatest when it comes to talking about feelings and emotions. He's not really great about anything, if I'm honest, but that's a whole next thing. I find it hard to cry. I don't like expressing my feelings. I have an older sister who tried her best to take care of us after mum died, but she's got her own stresses, so I don't like to bother her. I don't feel like I can talk to anyone. I don't talk to my boys because that's soft. I don't really talk to girls. Well, I don't cuss my aunties, have many girls in it, so I can't tell them my feelings because they're not wifey. I don't even know what I need, but I know I'm not feeling right, and I think it's because I miss my mum and I don't know how to deal with it. It's been so long. I should be over it now, right? Thank you, aunties. So I guess this guy, and it's tied in with the National Day of Reflection, I guess it's how do you mourn and, in quotes, get over someone that you've lost that meant so much to you and live and exist? How do you honour? How do you reflect? And how do you, and especially young, not even going to say especially, young people, anyone actually,
Okay.
I'm not going to generalise.
Yeah. No, we
I
get it. We
just-
get it.
Yeah, I don't think you ever really get over it. Like, I lost my dad when I was 17. Like, for me, it's still like yesterday. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's very much a very present, at the top of my mind, thought on a daily basis. I think that what you just do is develop like better coping mechanisms and also rationalize as you get older as well, kind of thing. And I think it's like a lot of things that helped me were talking about it, not pretending it didn't happen.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like confronting it, understanding what I'm feeling in moments, taking myself out of situations when I weren't comfortable, not doing things I didn't want to do. Like at one point there was like tons of funerals and it was like very triggering for me.
Okay.
And it's just like, no, I can't do that. Do you know what I mean? So
When you say
it was
talking
just-
about it, because he specifically said, from what he's saying, it's like he has nobody to talk to. Who did you find to talk to?
I talk to friends mainly. Mainly friends. I did do maybe a bit of therapy. Yeah, a little bit of therapy, but nothing super deep.
Right.
I used to write a lot as well.
Okay.
Like
Makes sense.
I would visit the gravesite. To be fair, that's not something I do now. I don't think it serves me to do that. But I used to visit the gravesite a lot. And just gave myself space to feel what I was feeling, because immediately when it first happened, I just kind of put it in a box and just got on with my life. And it hit me 6 months later.
Okay.
Like, do you know what I mean? And it was just like people around me couldn't really understand like why you know why is this happening now,
Right.
and stuff. So I think it's just give yourself time, give yourself grace. Your friends, you can kind of suss out who's the right person to speak to, because not everyone has the skills, especially when you're young, to deal with these very big, powerful emotions, right? Like don't try not to take it on too much if they can't deal with what you're talking about. And there's no time limit. There's absolutely no time limit. Like grief can take many, many, many years. Just be kind to yourself, I would say.
Yeah, I definitely think that speaking to your friends and leaning on that support, he's saying he used the phrase, I can't talk to my boys because that's soft, but there's a lot to unpack in that. But also, and as you said, finding someone that you trust, and he's removing himself. He's not letting himself speak to his sister because he doesn't want to burden her. But sometimes the person that's been through it with you and has experienced that with you, that's the person you should speak to, because you have a shared load, and you don't know if she's, you might be trying to protect each other, but actually that conversation with your loved one who's been through it with you might be the most freeing and revealing of your kind of both what you're both feeling or something like that. I don't know how she feels, obviously, but I think look to your circles.
Just to interject there, I would say like the other side of that is that if that person doesn't want to speak about it, then that's very painful, and that can also shut you down. So like I would say like maybe test the waters and just see, because they'll have their own process as well. Because I've you guys know, if you're regulars, I've got many siblings, and like they've all dealt with it very, very differently.
Okay.
And like I would say some of the closest ones to me, very different, very extremely different from myself, where they just like, it was just very internal, and not being able to have that conversations, especially when I was younger, was just devastating to me. Do you know what I mean?
Even,
it's
like,
just
so you would try.
yeah, and it's
Okay.
just like, but if they don't want to,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Because it's not, they it's real for them. It makes it real for them,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
So it's just like, I just don't want to put it out there, like, just because someone's close to you or a sibling, that they can help. They also might not be able to help.
I get
And that's
the
very
thing of
real.
trying.
Yeah.
Maybe soft peddling, like,
Yeah,
it
wasn't-
if
yeah.
an anniversary's coming up, like, it would be good if we could be together and just
Yeah,
soft
I think
seeing
Yeah.
I think
if
definitely.
that's something.
I mean, he said that he doesn't, so I was just trying to explore that.
Yeah.
If there's actual reasons, I'm assuming he might have said that she doesn't like talking about it. But if it's a thing where he's removing without actually trying
just
to investigate or look at, does she actually want to
She
talk
could
about
also
this?
be doing the same.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Just exploring
Like,
it
how is
carefully.
he even dealing? Because if he's being very closed outwardly to people,
Exactly.
loads of people could be thinking, I don't even want to broach it with him
Yeah.
because he seems to have he
might
seems to be dealing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly.
So
I think grief is a very personal thing, and I think that everyone deals with, and every incident of grief is different as well. So I think he said that he feels some type of way to speak to his sister, and he's got his reasons why. I think the main thing that he needs to do is focus on coping mechanisms of how he deals with it himself, because once you have those, the conversations with other people become easier.
A lot.
So, you know, I'd say therapy, but you can't always afford a therapist. However, there are a lot of grief platforms that you can go on and that you can talk to people, you can ring up and you can have conversations freely with these people. So that would be my first thing to say to him. Don't feel that you should be over it, because like Sade said, you'll never really be over it. You'll just find a way to get up every morning and work through stuff.
Yeah.
You'll never be over it. If someone that you love passes away, they're they're going to be with you forever, and it's going to be difficult. There'll be times that, like, I catch myself crying at silly things.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like I totally understand what you're saying, but I think for me, I would say first channels, try to find someone that you can talk to, and that doesn't necessarily have to be your friend. It doesn't necessarily have to be anyone in your circle.
True.
Sometimes talking to a stranger that doesn't even understand or know the people is a really, really helpful thing.
True,
Mm-hmm.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that can be really helpful actually when they don't know, and
Yeah.
you show up to strangers in different ways.
You do.
Sometimes you can be even more open,
And the
with them
problem
because
is,
they don't know anything.
yeah, when you're talking to someone as well, sometimes who's gone through an experience with you, you've got their burden as well. You're carrying their grief almost. Like you feel almost like you shouldn't express yourself too much because of how it affects them.
Yes.
And it's so I really believe that he needs to focus on himself right now, and how he does that is to finding outside channels of people to communicate
Loads
with.
of forums actually.
Loads of them now.
that are out there.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel for
Me too.
you know, just really thinking of, like, so my husband lost his dad in our first year, so it's like 21 years ago now, and every so often, I would say maybe every 3 years, it kind of resurfaces in a new way that is very similar to the first day. Like it comes up in waves. So to think, what was that? It's like maybe 10 years gone past.
Doesn't
No, it's, to me, that's really early. That's still an early, and it's your mother as well. It's like, it's a big one. You can't even think, oh, I should be over it now. Doesn't happen.
And I would say as well, like recently, I don't know whether it's as exactly, but it was Mother's Day and stuff, like just anniversaries and just like family focused holidays, like really try and find a way to kind of protect yourself in those moments, because they can be deeply overwhelming, I think, when you don't have that, and obviously it's a time for celebration for most people, so it's just like, you know, just try and protect yourself in those moments too, because you just don't know what your response is going to be.
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. You said a good one at the beginning, like to be kind to yourself, like that. Just removing the judgment that some days you are absolutely going to crumble and feel like, why has this happened to me? And that's fine.
And that's absolutely okay. Okay, so my boyfriend wants my money. This was spotted on the Shade Bra. My boyfriend spotted my bank balance by accident and found out I have 188k in savings. All of a sudden, he wants to split bills and isn't generous and keeps on sending me his wish list and acting weird. Should I have told him, or is he just being weird?
Listen. If you saw 188,000 in your partner's bank account, which you knew nothing about, I'm not paying for anything anymore. Male or female, I'm not paying for anything anymore. No.
That's my money.
We've been going halves. I have. Listen, they're young. Like he probably has about £100 in his bank account, yeah, and he sees her bank balance. I ain't paying for nada. What are you talking
It's
about?
going to be a conversation like, what's going on here?
But why?
I'm
I
saying
don't understand why. Does she know how much he's got in his account? They're not married. It doesn't sound like they're married.
Boyfriend, she said my
They're
boyfriend.
they're boyfriend. We don't even know if they're living together. If they're living together, then and they have a house. These are different things. But if you're just dating somebody, if that's your man, what? I must show you how much is in my account. Why?
Well, she did say.
I don't need to know what's in yours.
What she said is all of a sudden he wants to split.
Yeah, exactly.
Now my thing is that if it's been a tight, like they've been living tight, like.
But she's entitled to live tight. That's how she's got 188k.
Right, I was waiting. So,
I'm thinking as a woman, how I'd feel knowing that life's been tight, and it doesn't mean to say that automatically he has to open his bank account and unlock it. I wouldn't be like, I'm not paying for nothing, but it might be let's have a conversation because we've been living tight and you've not told me.
No, but you're saying we. Like we don't know that. We don't know if they live together or anything.
He said all of a sudden he wants to split bills. That implies
That could be dinner.
No, but whatever the case is, all of a sudden he wants to split bills.
Yeah.
So my point is, if we've been living in a way that it's been like, I don't know, whatever the situation is, and all of a sudden it's about splitting bills and all that type of stuff, I'd like to know, why have you hidden this from me? You don't have to give it.
There's a lot to unpack there
To have.
because
There's
it's.
conversations
But
to be had.
I think the thing to unpack there is the split bills, because that to me implies that they were not splitting bills before.
No, he was
so,
paying.
Right. So that's. So that's something to unpack, because for me, I've said it before, 50-50 innit, like let's do that thing. But I do not need to show you how much savings I have or have not. If me and you are not married, we are not living together, you don't need to know what's in my account.
No, it's
I don't need to know what's in yours. You don't need to know what's in mine.
I just think they're not aligned. Like they're clearly not aligned, and I think that this is, part of a problem with some relationships as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, because if you have a mentality of saving and, building towards something, like at the moment, he doesn't even know what you're trying to build towards. That might be, you might be trying to buy a house outright. Do you know what I mean? So therefore, you asking me to split bills now or, buy you presents, that's going to deter from the overall goal. But you haven't had that conversation to know what that is. Or you might just be like, I'm just saving for a rainy day because this is my personality and I'm sacrificing in order to do that, and he's just taking it as you're poor. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but either he hasn't looked deep or you just haven't had that conversation. But no, I will not be splitting bills now. And you're not getting anything, to be honest, because it's just like you're not entitled to my funds.
Does it say how long they've been together?
Doesn't say how long they've been together.
No.
My thing is, I think I'm on the same page. It's like, it's a conversation to understand what's going on because he's seen it.
But it's that bit that you said about hiding it. It's not hiding.
No, but I think there's, again, depending on how, like you said, whether they're living together, even if they're not living together, whether they're moving forward as a unit, that's going to be in this thing together. So for me, if it implies, because it seems like he's throwing his toys out the pram, like, no, you got all this money, we're going to be spending less shit. But what's this conversation? How have you lot been living prior to this, finding out this thing? I feel like there could be deception. It was a guy that I'm like, we're living like this, you got all this money. If he says, no, do you know what, I'm saving for something, but if we're moving together in honesty, then I should know.
Does he know what? No, I find it very difficult.
I don't know. I'm just thinking about past situations, yeah? Like, if you're dealing with a guy and he's the type that's going to take care of everything, it's not necessarily going to come up, unless he's interested in that, in terms of how much I have. Like,
Right.
It's not necessarily going to come up because that's not his mentality. His mentality is, I'm taking care of you and that's all you need to worry about.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So I can see how that could be a thing. But if he is pretending to be that, then
Right.
this is where this situation comes up.
I feel you.
Do you know what I mean?
There's that, and there's also the only way it should come up is if you're open and honest together. Yeah, if it's something that you feel that you like, he's salty now, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're salty now, but you didn't ask before. So if it's something that you're affected by, that you feel like you should know, then you should have asked the question: what are your what's the savings situation?
There's nothing
No, but
suggests that it's a large amount of money.
yeah, but that's an assumption. You see a lot of people.
But if you're with somebody and you're
Yeah.
like, this is just a normal. I feel like she's normal like me.
Mm-hmm.
I may have $2,000 in savings, and then you see, oh my God, she has enough savings. We don't know. And they were out of London, actually. She has enough savings to buy a house.
Mm-hmm.
That may be like, but I've put all of my money every time we go out. I'm paying for everything. I understand the saltiness. Yeah. It is a conversation, though.
I'm not saying it's not a conversation, but it's
absolutely, if the shoe was on the other foot, I'm not spending my money.
I wouldn't be like that.
I'm not doing it.
I
I'm not
can't
doing
imagine
that.
I'd be in a relationship like that now. Anyway, if the shoe was on the other foot, there's no way I'd pay for everything.
Yeah, it does that.
It's not.
And I wouldn't say you got money, so I'm going. Now you got. I'm going. Now you got to pay. For
Yeah,
it.
I'm not doing that.
It's a conversation.
You're rinsing my money while you're saving.
Yeah, if he's rinsing my money, then we have to break up. Then,
but
that's
it.
Deception.
Yeah, because like I remember having a relationship with this guy. Like, do you remember when you could call people for free?
Yeah, 7 to 7.
Well, I had free calls anyway, so I could call him, and like we had an argument. And I was just like, well, you can't even afford to call me anyway. Yeah, put the phone down, and he called me back. Imagine.
So that means you could.
So you were rinsing your...
Yeah, running out my minutes, yeah, when you were saving them for other things.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
So yeah, so I do understand, like, but it's just so.
That's why
I don't know, man.
That's why he's sending wish lists.
Because I think it is a large.
But it goes back to what Sade said. If you want to man up and not man up, that's the wrong word that I'm using. But if you want to present yourself as a man who is, I'm gonna cater for you. But then when you find out that she's got money, you no longer feel like you need to cater for her. Then no one asks you to do that. Do what you can do, and it shouldn't affect you. What's in her bank balance? It shouldn't. It shouldn't affect you.
It depends on their relationship, because it's like, it depends on their relationship.
But then men, I think there are a lot of men out there that present like they don't care
Yeah.
what a woman earns.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And they do.
They absolutely do care. They're lying. They
Absolutely do.
Yeah.
Lying.
Okay, quickly. Hospice Husbands. Did you know about this? Let me see if I can pull this up. Mad thing.
Ladies over 40, beware. I have just learned about Hospice Husbands. This is basically where you meet a man and he is love bombing you. He is doing all the things. You fall in love with him and you marry him super fast. Well, these are men that are already sick. They just haven't told you that they're sick. Like, I've heard about stories that men who, like, after like weeks of being with a woman, they died, but they knew they were dying. And the woman is left with like millions of dollars in medical bills. And then the kids come along and they take what belongs to the woman that the man never owned. Hospice husbands. I am like, so you telling me that when you meet a man, you got to go and get his bones checked, his heart checked, his colon checked. You got to do all this check before you ever even go out on the first date? Tell me what you think in the comments.
Have you guys heard of this?
I had not.
I only heard of it when I think one of you lot put it in the group.
I swear to God, I was so shocked and afraid. Honestly, can we not get a break? You would think like when you're older, you wouldn't have these, things to worry about.
Shit.
No, you've just unlocked a new level of fear.
A new level of manfuckery.
Honestly.
Because how dare you know that you're about to cork it and you're coming to put your head on my shoulder, playing on my insecurities as an older black woman that needs to get married, feeling that desperation, and here you come, Mr. Billy, putting on your Old Spice and trying to
Mine is
so rude.
I saw it. So I think that woman is responding to, it was another woman talking about like 3 of her friends are going through this at the moment.
Wow.
3.
Yeah. So she was putting out a PSA and she was like, listen, I'm 44. And I know there's lots of us single ones out there. We may be going into our second marriage. And we're like, we want somebody older. She's like, beware of the 55 to 65-year-olds. She didn't say they know they're ill. She was like, but you need to look into their medical history. If they got high cholesterol, high blood pressure, they are probably going to die in their 70s. And they're going to leave you high and dry. And then you're going to be out there looking again. And I was like, oh, wow.
honestly,
That's new.
ladies in your 40s, just date younger.
That's what I was about to say.
Just date
Listen.
younger.
But sometimes you want maturer though, innit?
No,
it's all right.
but you
It's
don't
all
want
right.
liars that are going to leave you
The young ones aren't
high
lying.
and dry.
The young ones ain't lying.
Man's talking
Everybody's
about
lying.
he's dying.
But let's not be left with someone. Make you a widow. Furthermore, even more spinstery in society's terms, and then on top of the fact he hasn't set his shit up that the kids are coming for you to take what's not yours because he didn't even have his affairs in order.
You'll be around in the caring stages, I guess. Men die earlier than women anyway. So
Yeah.
generally, yeah. So, but I know so many of my friends are like, I'm not interested in the younger guy. I'm looking for a guy over 50s because they usually have all of their ducks in a row. They have their own house, all of that type of stuff. But we don't talk about, with that, you probably have 15 years if they're not in shape.
Jesus.
If they're not in shape, though, you know.
But that's
Even the ones
the
that are in shape.
It's peak.
yeah, but you could fuck a young guy and he could die tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
But it's more likely that
I understand that, but the only good thing that we've got going for us in this country is that medication, the NHS is free, innit?
For now.
We don't have the bills.
We ain't got the bills.
Can be occurred, but yeah,
I'm signing a prenup. Yeah, I'm signing a
Post-nut,
prenup, and like, yeah,
Mid-nup.
mid-nut.
That's what I'm saying, mate.
It's
And then-
interesting though.
It's
But
mad.
It's first date conversations, how much money you making, what's in your bank account, and what's your freaking life expectancy.
Like we got to go and do
Go into your health
medical.
medical record. Bring it
To
to
be
the
fair though, you should be doing medical shit anyway because like you should be going to the sex clinic.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
okay.
no, but even insurance, no? Like
life
life
insurance.
insurance.
Yeah, that too.
Bring that to the date.
Yeah.
Everything. Guys, bring your briefcase.
Not to the date, like you know.
Bring
but
your
if you're
briefcase
getting
to the date. I want all the documents.
I mean, if they're doing the love bombing thing and it's like within weeks they're being like, "You are my person,"
Yeah.
then maybe
yeah, but then
that
watch
is
out
a-
for them people.
exactly.
You got
Yeah,
just
you gotta do it.
young
You gotta do
or
it.
old
Yeah.
because there's young boys that want to be looked after too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
like
that's
young
what
or old, just watch out for that love bombing thing
Listen.
because
Sugar
Would it
baby.
be
anyone that's
okay
trying to get you to say they love you or you love them,
Exactly.
watch
in a
out for
few
them.
weeks? Would it be okay to have the discussion of life insurance that I'm the beneficiary really early on?
You're gonna have to in these days.
No, you're not the
If you're,
beneficiary.
if you're talking about marriage, absolutely.
Marriage.
You know what I mean?
But-
Like,
Let's
if
get
you
this
just,
right.
But no, but hold on. No,
Any-
wait. Because I was watching some next documentary on Netflix. You know, I like a documentary,
Yeah,
innit? Especially
yeah.
the crime ones. And one chick, she did this whole thing with her man, like married him, was put all everything in his in her name, and then she murked him.
I mean,
Yeah, that's
So that's why I'm like,
yeah.
you've got to be careful with that too,
What,
because
why have I? No, but
no, she
you're not a murderer.
but I'm saying like, how do I know you're not a murderer?
Yeah,
he didn't know.
Why are we
Why
talking
would
about
you
life
Yeah.
so
insurance?
soon?
Oh,
But she's-
then relax.
let the
then.
chips fall.
Then let's
That's
not
the
talk
way of the
about
game.
marriage.
Have you watched
Let's
The
not
Wives?
talk
It's
about it.
chess.
Like you
It's
can't
a
have
game
it
of
both
chess.
ways.
I know, but I'm just
Yeah.
like, that's
Alright,
one
guys.
thing to watch out for as well.
What's made you sad?
These
mad, and
guys
glad
wanna
this
be your
week? All right, I'll go first. Definitely 50, 60, 70-year-old love bombers. Stay away. That's made me mad to hear about that. The rain's making me very sad, and that was my mad. And my very glad that my coat was replaced nicely. I think a few weeks ago I was talking about my customer service experience. It went on a high, then it went on a low, and now it's back on a high. The coat that ripped is now back in my possession nicely. So I'm very glad.
Sad. I don't have a dramatic sad
don't
actually.
have to?
So no, I don't really have a sad. I'm still kind of sad actually at the state of humans. I don't know. Sometimes on a daily, I'm being really disappointed by people on social media. So that's ongoing. I am really mad with the cost of gas and electricity. It's maddening. It's too much. And I have a new theory. Don't think I've shared it with you guys yet. My new theory is they're putting all the prices up to kill us over here, like specifically the UK and Germany. They've put up their prices dramatically compared to France and Spain, and we're living on the same planet. So I feel like they're trying to end us over here. That's been maddening.
We don't have time to explore.
Positive.
Can we unpack that, please?
Next time we can get into it further.
Please.
And my glad. I'm super glad. We're coming up to my father-in-law's anniversary, and just the way the family has got together. Because again, as I said earlier on, we're on like 22 years now. It's just still really like positive, celebrating his life, and the grandkids like still, they're like Granddad George. Just it's a really nice, positive legacy that he's left. So I'm very grateful for that.
Cool.
That's lovely. I am similar to what you said. I'm really mad at the state of the price of utility bills. Like my council tax went up as well.
Yep.
And it went up like I was like, I couldn't believe how much it went up by.
Is it legal?
My council tax has gone up. My water rates has gone up. My rent is going up. Gas and electricity. It's like a real struggle, and I'm actually really annoyed at not having any money.
Yeah.
Like it's like no, but I'm super annoyed by it. Like I'll go into a shop and I'm like, how come I don't have any money anymore?
Yeah.
It's because my bills are so high now, and I've like curbed certain things. Like I downgraded my car. I've done like a lot. I've done what I'm supposed to do, right? And I still don't have no fucking money.
Yep.
So I'm just mad. I don't have a sad. Well, I'm sad that I don't have any money, but I'm just mad.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm sad about. We saw a protest the other day.
Forgot.
In Morrison's. They were protesting about the conditions of the chickens.
Who? What? When?
Morrison's.
Where was that?
It was in London. No, I'm being serious. But
Who's for a protest? Where?
They were doing. Where
was I?
Oh, you'd
You'd gone to your car.
Yeah.
It was when we was walking down the road in Wood Green.
Yeah.
Oh. They were protesting about chicken.
Yeah, because the
What's wrong with the chicken?
Because they're making them live in terrible conditions so they can produce.
Oh, but why
more
Morrison's?
chickens. No, Morrison's are doing it. As
Oh, it's
chicken-
Morrison's.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't shop in that shop anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So I would like to join their protest and ask everyone to stop buying.
Are you going to stop eating chicken?
products from Morrison's?
Oh, from Morrison's.
Yes,
Specifically
because they
Rah.
because it's them.
That's
over
mad.
Yes, exactly. And they had people protesting. I mean, yeah. it
The
was
only interesting thing is, a lot of these supermarkets get their stuff from the same places.
But this particularly said that it was Morrison's were the only group that were doing this.
Okay. Yeah.
So the conditions, like their life expectancy.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, it was horrible.
Oh.
So yeah, that was horrible. And then, and I'm glad that Succession is back.
In a minute.
By the time that this airs, we'll be doing our daily shows at 9 p.m. on a Monday to review and recap and give our opinions on all the episodes. So yeah, definitely join us for that on YouTube. But yeah, I really love that show. So as we all do. So yeah, happy about that.
Thank you so much. That's been your Aunties Could Never. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe on all the platforms. You can watch us back on YouTube. Yeah, man, we'll be back.
Bye.
Bye.